I watched the greens become russet and brown, watched the leaves fall away. I watched the winter black shift to green, watched the buds erupt, watched the flowers fade away. I claimed that bush as my own personal clock, marking the passage of time, the change of seasons, my connection to more than my everyday life. Now, I confess I did not keep up the practice with the kind of faithfulness that I wish I had. But I also knew that something had become unsettled in me, that the way I had been living for a long time was no longer sustainable, though I did not yet know how to make a change in perception, a change also in behavior. I did know, though, that the fear I was fleeing so well was imaginary, that my ambitions were a distraction, that there was no treasure there. I did know that I was consumed with feelings of helplessness, of being pulled on a tide I could not fight, of observing my life, a perfectly good and normal life, as somehow less vital than it ought to be. About a month ago, I spoke about the tree outside my current window, having taken up during the pandemic the habit of daily observation of one solitary plant. Such observation, wonderfully, is never about one singular thing, but rather about the interconnections of all of reality. After 746 days of practice, I feel now I have so much to say about this tree and my experience with it. I've watched the snowfalls recede around its base. More closely, I've watched the snow fill crevices of the rough oak bark and then watched that same snow melt away. I've watched the squirrels, larded with the fat of acorns from the year past, scamper up and down the trunk, and the petite, downy woodpeckers hopping down and up the trunk, hunting for insects that seem impossible in the cold. I have watched a pair of crows rising together around the tree and out into the trees of the ravine beyond, easily dodging branches and effortlessly catching the unseeable currents of air. I see the buds of new branches patiently waiting for more sunshine and the warming temperatures, for the sap to rise all the way from deep in the ground to the sky far above. After so many photographs, I feel I might have learned something in this long pandemic time, a time that shifted significantly how I spend my time. I feel that the practice and the tree and me, myself, we conspired to awaken thoughts and perspectives, thoughts and perceptions that may have been asleep in me, or that I may never had had before, which amounts to the same thing. You may have such thoughts and perceptions too. They are not new, so to speak. More like awakening, more like the scales falling from our eyes, things there all the time, but not noticed. More like tender embrace of things past that can still pierce the heart. Certainly, a closer observation of the thriving natural world served to slow me down, only a little, but still enabling me to pause in the busyness of life and remember that I hold a special place in the vast reality. I wish that slowing down for you as well, to know that you have your own place in that vast reality. Tapping into the bushes and trees of my own backyards then and now has been especially important to me in pandemic times, when constraint and restriction have confined us to our homes and the smallest range of travel. Our Soul Matters material this month brings us the story of Alistair Humphreys, a serious British adventurer. He cycled around the world, rowed like in a rowboat, the Atlantic, walked across southern India and all of Iceland, just to name a few. But lately, affected like all of us during this pandemic, he's gone from big to small, from global and grand to local and familiar. He ordered a 12-mile square map of the area where he lives, and he spent a year exploring each half-mile square on that map. And the result? The world around him came alive again. In our own backyards, we can become alive once more to ourselves, to the understanding that we are intimately connected with all of nature and with each other. Life has conspired to produce me, somehow, out of the particularities of DNA and unique experience. Life has conspired to produce exactly you, each of you, out of the particularities of DNA and your unique experiences. Yet our contemporary lifestyles often block us from contemplating our originality, the unique specialness of each of us. Contemporary life measures us and holds us to a set of artificial and flattened standards that can often erase our very beingness. As Eve Ensler put it, I was raised in America. All value lies in the future, in the dream, in the production. There is no present tense. There is no value in what is, only in what might be made or exploited from what already exists. Of course, the same was true for me. I had no inherent value. Without work or effort, without making myself into something significant, without proving my worth, I had no right or reason to be here. Life itself was inconsequential unless it led to something, unless the tree would be wood, would be house, would be table. What value was there in tree? What a sad and unnecessary way to live. Yet that is what is all around us. And we think, I am just like other people, I am nothing special. We think, I don't have this or that quality or capacity. And not having that quality or capacity, that makes me less than, or not good enough, lacking, and inadequate. We think, I have failed to measure up. I am not worthy. Or we think, I am self-serving in order to hide my pain. I exaggerate a piece of myself in order to maintain a sense of superiority or power over others. In all those cases, it is being resistant to that deep internal and connected awareness. It is from confusing a part for the whole. It is in forgetting the fundamental relationship that keeps us asleep to the real vitality of life and to the gift of our own lives. Such self-knowledge, searching for it, that can be painful. And isn't there enough pain in this world? Why bring up more? As I was writing on Friday, newsbreak messages kept flashing across my cell phone screen. Putin's war crimes in Ukraine. Corrupt and lying politicians doing everything imaginable and unimaginable to hang on to power. Cruel teardowns of a black woman judge. nominated for the Supreme Court. More evidence that the former administration supported a literal coup attempt in January 2021. More states passing more laws to restrict the lives of LGBTQ people and of people seeking abortions. Little action on addressing climate crisis. What didn't flash across the screen of my cell phone, but what I am aware of, were all the personal traumas within all of your lives. The losses of jobs and worries about family members, the addictions, the illnesses, the lonely moments, so much horror and tragedy. Who also needs the pain of self-awareness, the rooting around in the compost of everyday life for ultimate purpose or meaning? Who needs to uncover the deeply personal, the existential angst of our being? Can't we just leave well enough alone? I think the answer to that question is no, because it's only through exploration of ourselves that we find those real and validating answers, the ones that enable us to endure all the personal and social affronts of life, all the pain. We are each and every one of inherent beauty and worth. We are connected to each other. We are connected to the earth. We don't have to produce in order to be relevant. These days, I seek to slow down. I seek to hear all that I am confronting and all that is requested of me, and I pause to decide, what really ought I to do? How really ought I act? I invite you to slow down so that you may know that each of you is a unique and vital part of the fabric of everything. One of you, no more, but never any less important and sacred than any other. These days, I seek to awaken to this gift, this beauty, this chance that we might still begin again and anew. These days, I wish for myself and for all of you that we might be changed by the in and out of breath, that we might still surprise this earth with a new song sung together. Just for a moment, see if in the quiet of your space, of our space, you can imagine yourself into that place of wholeness, unperturbed by the pressure to produce or impress or strive. Let's try together. That bush in front of the house next to the bus stop, that tree in my backyard I photograph daily, those growing bits of nature are also signs of a deeper, livelier existence, symbols of the effort to connect beyond the structures of society which push and badger and discipline us. Sometimes the necessity of shifting attention comes in a flash, a buildup of static electricity that simply overwhelms the normal and everyday reality. Sometimes, like for Eve Ensler, it comes from a prolonged illness, insights garnered from an enforced slowdown. She says, there was the tree, my tree. Not that I owned it. I had no desire for that. But it had come to be my friend, my point of connection and meditation, my new reason to live. I was not writing or producing or on the phone or making anything happen. I was not contributing much more than my appreciation of tree, my love of green, my commitment to bark and trunk, my celebration of Branch, my insane delight over the gentle white May blossoms that were beginning to flower everywhere. Let us try together to be so insanely delighted with our world, with each other, with ourselves. Here in this building, in this backyard, in this beloved congregation, we might seek and see the deeper value, the deeper connections within and between us, value and connections so easily swept aside by everyday life. In the words of the Reverend Jonalou Johnston, religious congregations help to change us by helping us know who we are, not at a surface level. You're an American, a retiree, a teacher, an attorney, or even at the deeper levels where we sometimes find ourselves. You're a dad, a lesbian, an artist, a friend. At the places where we connect to our root, to our souls, at the deepest and most profound levels, that is what our community can do. You are a reflection of the divine. You are Buddha. You are Christ. You are one with the Spirit that infuses all that is good and holy in the world, especially the children talking now. In our religious congregations, we are called to that which is holy, to push ourselves and prod ourselves to be our best selves. If you can bring yourself to believe that everything is holy, your every emotion, your every perception that holds out to you a gift of connection, then you can learn, you can contemplate, awaiting clarity. Let us look into our own deeps and see the beauty that we each are. Let us look into each other deeply, beyond the surface tensions and challenges, to see the beauty that we each are. Let us help each other here and now to see the beauty we all are. Where others see scarcity, may we see a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. If everything is holy now, if you can bring yourself to believe that, then there is no choice but to treat each moment of every day as a glorious gift of possibility. If we can all be still in the nature right next to us, we may find the peace and beauty it provides, so much there if we just be. May we hear the call of the earth and of all the beings in it, including human beings. As part of the boundless multitudes of living beings, may we bring sustenance and awakening, freedom from sorrow, and may we delight in our common existence as you remember today and every day that you are loved, you are worthy, you are welcome, and you are needed. May you feel it so. May it be so. And may we say together, amen.